Daniel Talia, Paul, please, you just run us through those guys, please.
Yeah, Tales definitely plays. He'll be fine. He's going to train now without any issues. Brodie Smith and Paul Pleasure should be right back in the mix this week. And we're really close to getting Brodie Martin, Henderson, Otten back as well. So I'm not sure out of those three who plays this week, but we might get one or two of those boys back for their SANFL club this week, which is good too. So we're starting to get a few back in the mix, which is nice.
Brendan, heard a lot of people debating whether or not you should rest some key players, leave or not.
Yep.
Have you wavered at all? Have you thought about that? Is it something you do or consider?
We won't rest players, but we'll certainly manage their output during the week just to ensure they're getting the most out of themselves on the weekend. I don't think we're one of the clubs that can sort of flirt with our form too much. We've sort of got to get rolling and getting really good touch for September. But at the same time, we're not looking too far ahead. We have to play better than last week. And, Melbourne will be tough at the MCG. I know Brad Green announced today it's his last match ever. So they'll be up and about early. So we've got to take our best game over there to play well against them.
Brendan, what does it say that you're on the eve of the finals and you've had to have the longest review of the season?
It says that we didn't play well enough and we didn't play the Crows' way. And I've talked about that a lot this year about playing a way that wins your matches but also wins your finals. And there was some stuff we saw in the review on Monday which is just unacceptable for how we want to play. To the players' credit, they sat through it. It was very interactive. They discussed a lot of things as well. And I'm sure we'll see a player-driven improvement this week, which is important. And, motivation and focus are so important this time of the year. Happens across every sport, every league across the land about you've qualified for September, you've qualified for the finals, but you've still got to play away leading into that. So you can't flirt with how you play. You have to play a certain way, no matter the opponent, no matter the opposition, no matter how you're feeling. You have to get yourself up to play on the rivet, on the edge every week.
Was it about them or was it about the opposition as well?
I know a little bit about both. Yeah, we certainly we allowed Brisbane to shut us down, which was disappointing. I think our attack's been so great this year, and didn't matter who we played. I mean, the week before we played Fremantle, who, in my opinion, are one of the best defensive sides in the competition, and we scored heavily against them. So we probably allowed Brisbane to shut us down too much. So that's one thing that we addressed amongst them. Many things that we can improve on.
Have you thought you might need to add something? After a year, which everyone's now watched you, do you need to come up with something different?
Not so much. I don't think so. We're looking for ways to improve every week, and without question, because we're sitting up in the top half of the ladder, we're getting reviewed heavier, or more heavier than I guess we would have earlier in the season. But there'll be sides like Collingwood, Hawthorn, Sydney now spending a fair bit of time looking at how we play and what does beat us. So we've got to be prepared for that too. It's a great battle. We're already looking at ways that we can beat Melbourne, but at the same time we've got people looking at how the sides that have beaten Hawthorn, the sides that have beaten Collingwood, the sides that have beaten Sydney, how they've actually done it. So we're always looking for that edge and opportunities to improve, and that's the way to do it.
So you're convinced what you would call the Crows' way will work in September? You don't need to tinker anymore with it?
Oh, it'll be tough, yeah. It certainly won't be easy, and the game changes in September. I said that a few weeks ago. The way that we're playing in rounds 5 or 6 or even rounds 16 and 17 will be very different to how we play or how the game is played in September. And I said in the first week I was working here to the players, if you get a chance, watch the Collingwood-Hawthorn prelim final from last year. That was brutal footy. There wasn't so much about structure, there wasn't so much about different systems, it was just more about the will to win. But at the same time, 20-minute mark of the fourth quarter in a big game, you've got to have the poise and the composure to see the game and make really good decisions. So that's what we're trying to teach our guys to, not just to play and try and rev each other up. It's more about showing composure when the heat's really on.
So how did they answer did you put the question of whether they had the appetite? The game against Brisbane would lead you to question something there.
Yeah, it's a really delicate one with players. I haven't played myself. You're always trying, and you can probably say there's degrees of how hard you try. But our GPS numbers were exactly the same. Their level of intensity was still the same. But we didn't think our way through situations as well as what we have earlier in the season. I don't know if this makes sense, but I think at times we just played. There wasn't the communication between players on the field to get what we wanted. There was more about, sort of the rah, 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 come on, let's try harder, rather than direction and communication.
How important is it for that improvement to be player-driven?
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, the game has changed. The coaches that stand in front and yell and scream at their players trying to get the most out of them, I think those days are gone. Most of the energy now through the group is generated from the playing group. So for us, for a coaching group, it's more about preparation and direction and, plan B, plan C, plan D. And that's got to be executed from our playing group. So a lot of our leaders are an extension of the coaching group as well, so they can make changes themselves on the field.
How do you deal with that other issue of the night with Scott Thompson and him throwing the phone down?
Oh, he couldn't hear me properly. Yeah, there was some issues with the comms in Brisbane, but do you believe me? No, it was one of those ones. It's an emotional game. We spoke about it on Monday. I lost my cool with a couple of decisions he made as a leader, giving away a free kick at a centre bounce, then giving away a 50. Just explained to him I needed more from our senior players. Probably didn't like what he heard, but so I had to just remind him who was boss.
How's Kurt Tippett's body at the moment? He seemed to be managing a bit of a sore back earlier in the week.
No, he's fine. He was disappointed with his performance, and we just got to get him back playing really good footy. So when Kurt's playing well, we're playing well and we're winning. That puts a bit of pressure on him, I know, but at the same time, he's up for the challenge. He's got plenty of fight left in him for this season, as has the rest of the group. So we'll come out, we'll throw everything at Melbourne this week and hopefully get the result we're after.
Brent, I know last week we talked about Mick Moldhouse's comments about the top two situation, but after he makes those comments and then you have I suppose, a lapse that will be called up to quarter time, is that a little bit disappointing from an outside point of view, or does it bother you? You just can't control it?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because I know people make comments and then if you lose, they say, see, I told you so. But we still think we're a good side. We've got a lot of fight in us left yet. We've had a really good season, but it could be a great season. I just don't want to roll off the end of the last few weeks and just think, it's been a good season, that's it. I'm still really motivated. I know our coaches are too, and our players still have that spark in the eye. You look at them and there's a real determination that they want to make amends for last week because they let an opportunity slip. But at the same time, September's coming, so we've got to make sure we're ready to go.
You can't control the draw, of course, but all the top clubs seem to play each other over the next couple of weeks. You guys don't.
Yep.
Does that concern you now?
No, not so much. No, we've just got to go out and play our way. If we win, that's great. If we win convincingly, even better. But we've just got to make sure we don't start getting into bad habits this time of the year, and we've got to roll into September in good form. I'm really happy we're getting some players back now, and we're getting close to our best side now. So it'll be really important, that we just keep the foot on the throat, keep the energy up, and make sure we make amends for last week's effort.
How about those bad habits? There were those undisciplined acts that you called them after the game.
Yep.
Walker, the one you had to deal with most then?
He was disappointed. I jokingly said something to him in the aeroplane that I shouldn't have said, but I think he sort of held that for a couple of days. But he's been terrific this year, Tex, and we speak about discipline being really important for our group, and it was a bit of a throwaway line, but I really like how he's playing. He's so emotional, on the field. He plays on the edges we've seen this year, and I was disappointed he gave away that free kick at a critical time of the game, but you can't question his level of intensity, and he's been really good this year at bonding that forward group together and giving direction. And as I said, I love his energy on the field, and sometimes it boils over the edges and disappointed as a coach, but I still love him how he's playing right on the edge each week.
Did you have to clear anything up with him if you put it hard a little bit?
Oh no, he's fine. I love his personality, I love his character, and some of those sort of plays, they do sometimes take things to heart, as all players do. But don't worry, Tex is still bouncing around the locker room now like he's Mr. Universe.
And what about with Thompson? How quickly did that clear up?
No, that was fine. I actually grabbed him after the game and we had a bit of a laugh. I know he was in the press conference with me afterwards, and there's some things are said sometimes on the field, in the coach's box. You just let them go. You don't. I've said it a lot this year, but you just don't sit and sulk over things. And I was emotional too, you know, and I've got to learn how to control my temper at times. I think I do a reasonable job, but I can always improve as well.
How close were you to blowing a fuse after the game? There's one shot of you sitting there, it's like, don't blow, don't blow, don't blow. And how close were you to just letting rip at the players?
Yeah, you're right. I almost let it all out. You know, it's sometimes it's difficult to bottle up that emotion, and you have to remind yourself to keep calm. And I've said it a lot this year, but the guys I've got working with me, the coaching group, really work well together. And sometimes when I'm really up, the other guys sort of pull me back down to earth a bit. And sometimes when I'm a bit flat, those boys sort of help me get up. So that's part of working in a team environment, and it's important. I mean, I've learned a few lessons even this year, but through my 20 years in footy, that you just got to make sure you get the answers before you start criticising individuals. So the great thing for us is behind the goals vision, and that answers a lot of things for us. And you can see patterns that players are running, and you know, structures and setups and communication. You can see it all. You see the whole ground. So once I've looked at that, and you can answer a few things about why certain things happen. But I'm glad I didn't go down and give them a spray. They were sad enough. You know, they were devastated that they got beaten by 10 points, and they understand the importance of the next 2 weeks to us to take good form into September.
Last one. If you're seeing more numbers around the ball, more numbers in the corridor to block you there, what's going to be the key to what you do then?
It's a little bit about selfless running as well. Sometimes you can take players out of the corridor. I mean, if we ran out of the corridor and they didn't follow us, they stayed in there, then yeah, we'll certainly go, you know, through that sort of logo channels to goal. We've still played that way this year. When sides have tried to clog us up, we've gone around them. So we're always looking for ways to improve our attack, and there's different times this year we've played really well against good attacking sides, and there's other times this year when sides have held us up really well. So yeah, we've got a couple of weeks to straighten that out.
So you don't think you'll be a one-trick pony that they won't come on you?
No, certainly not. I mean, if we're good enough, we'll win. We think we could still improve looking through to September. Whether we're the best side in it, as we've said, you know, some external experts think we're not ready or think we're not up to it. But I just say, why not us? Why not us this year?